They say there's a place in Louisiana where the past refuses to die. The air is thick with the spirits of slaves and cruel masters. Would you dare step into a house where the spirits of the dead roam freely? I did, and I'll never forget what happened. A place where shadows move on their own and whispers echo in the dark. The house itself was beautiful, almost too perfect, but there was something wrong about it. The sun was dipping below the horizon, casting an eerie orange glow over the plantation. From the moment I saw it, I felt watched. The air was heavy, like the house was holding its breath, waiting for me, luring me closer. As we approached the house, it felt ever more oppressive. As I stepped inside, the tour guide greeted me with a knowing smile. "This house has a history," she said. She began to tell me about the house, its dark history, and that of Chloe. Chloe was a slave who worked on the plantation in the early 1800s. The story goes that she was caught eavesdropping on the plantation owner, and as punishment, they cut off her ear. From then on, she wore a green scarf to hide the scar. But Chloe wanted revenge. She baked a cake laced with poison, intending to kill the plantation owner. Instead, his wife and 2 daughters ate the cake. They died in agony. The other slaves, terrified of Chloe's actions, hanged her. And that's when the hauntings began. The tour guide led us to a grand mirror in the living room. It was beautiful but unnerving. They say this mirror traps spirits. I leaned closer, and for a moment, I thought I saw handprints smudged on the glass from the inside. That night, I stayed in one of the guest rooms. I wanted to experience the paranormal for myself. But as soon as the door closed, I regretted my decision. The room felt colder than the rest of the house. The bed, though untouched, seemed to sag slightly, as if someone invisible was sitting there. And then it began. It started with footsteps, slow, deliberate, moving closer to my door. I held my breath, straining to hear. The sound stopped just outside my room. Then a soft knock. "Who's there?" I whispered. No answer. I mustered the courage to check. I opened the door. Nothing. The hallway was empty. But as I turned to go back inside, I felt it, a cold breath on my neck. I couldn't sleep. Every sound was amplified in the silence. The ticking of the clock, the rustling of leaves outside. And then I heard it, a woman's voice, humming. People say they've heard Chloe humming lullabies late at night. I searched the room, my heart racing. The humming grew louder, closer, as if it were circling me. And then I saw her. She was standing at the foot of the bed, her face obscured, but her scarf unmistakable. I couldn't move. Her presence was suffocating. She raised a hand, pointing at the mirror. In the mirror, I saw them. 2 little girls, their faces pale, their eyes pleading. I don't remember screaming, but I must have. The next thing I knew, it was morning, and the room was silent. I left the Myrtles plantation that day, vowing never to return. But even now I can't escape it. Sometimes late at night, I hear humming. The Haunting of Tutwiler Hall. Have you ever felt like someone was watching you? I mean, really watching you? Even when you know you're alone? That's the question I've been asking myself every night since I moved into Tutwiler Hall. I thought dorm life would be fun. You know, late night chats, making friends, the usual college stuff. But Tutwiler Hall, it's different. And my room has a history. They don't tell you the details during orientation, of course. But the upperclassmen, they talk. They whisper about the girl who lived in my room years ago, about how she discovered her boyfriend's betrayal, and how she ended it all, right here. They say her spirit never left. At first I didn't believe it. Ghost stories are just stories, right? But then things started happening. The first night, I woke up to the sound of my chair scraping across the floor. I thought maybe I'd left the window open, but it was locked. I put it back and tried to convince myself it was nothing. But the next night, it happened again. Only this time, it wasn't just the chair. I saw her, just for a second, a shadow by the window. I told myself I was dreaming, but deep down, I knew I wasn't. I started digging. I needed to know more about her. Her name was Emily. She was a sophomore, just like me. She'd caught her boyfriend cheating on her at a party, and a week later, she was gone. They found her right by the window. I thought knowing her story would help. Maybe if I understood her pain, I could, I don't know, make peace with her. But it only made things worse. That's when I realized she was trying to communicate with me. At first it was just the word why over and over. But then it changed. She wasn't just angry. She was desperate. The sobbing started a few nights ago. It's not loud, but it's constant. It's coming from the corner of the room where her desk used to be. I tried talking to her. I said her name. I told her I was sorry for what happened to her. But then she answered. It was just one word that made my blood run cold. She said, "Liar." I don't know what she meant. I've never lied to her. But now, every night, she gets closer. The sobbing is louder. And last night she touched me. I can't stay here anymore. I've tried to switch rooms, but no one wants this one. And the RA says there's nothing they can do. But I know what I have to do now. This was hers. I found it hidden under a loose floorboard. The last thing she wrote was, "He'll pay for what he did. I think she's waiting for justice." If I don't help her, I'm afraid she'll never leave me alone. So if you ever hear the stories about Tutwiler Hall, believe them. And if you're ever assigned to my room, don't stay.